All right, welcome back to another episode. Kevin and Ryan here with KSMMA. Today we have Dilano, the Postman Taylor, who is coming off a PFL Challenger Series win. Dilano, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, bro. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well. So I bet you're feeling great after the win. This year was probably amazing for you. 3 wins in 2021. You go out, get your first win in 2022 in the PFL. How does everything feel right now?
Um, Everything feels like it's going as it's designed, if that makes sense. I've been putting in the work. Um, I feel like I've taken my time to come up to do the things that I wanted to do, and all it took was me just turning off like the limiters and just going for it, as opposed to just waiting for the best time or the right time, if that makes sense. Just going when the opportunity presented itself. So I feel pretty good. I feel pretty really good about that, actually.
Yeah, and when the opportunity presented itself, you went out there, you went out and won. Amazing year, like we said last year, amazing year to start off this time. And now after your win back in December in 2020 or last year, 2021, was signing with the PFL something that was in talks immediately after, or you were talking to like other promotions and you didn't know what was next, and it was just like, oh, I got to think about this decision and everything else. So what was that whole situation like?
So right after that fight, I got a couple offers actually. I got one offer was actually for the UFC, but it was like on short notice.
Yeah.
It was a short notice fight to fight what's that guy's name? Man, he's an Australian guy. He just got signed to the UFC off of the Contender Series. He fought one of my teammates, Anj, and can't remember his name. The Lusa, not the Lusa, the something.
Yeah, I
But
yeah, I
he
feel like
fought that guy. Yeah, he fought that kid who was 4-0 on like the 4-0 kid took the fight.
yeah.
He took that fight, and the 4-0 kid got knocked out in that first round, fighting that guy. Um, they offered me. They were like, "Hey, we could throw you in the hat to potentially jump on there," and I was like, "Man, I'm not even fully recovered from my last fight. Like the fight in December, I took more damage than I thought I did. Actually, like that's probably more damage that I've taken in any fight. To be really honest, like my body was like really beat up for a bit, but I had to take some time to recover. I couldn't take that fight. So when they offered me the PFL, I was still a little skeptical because like, damn, I just got offered the UFC, and now it just feels like I'm going backwards. Like you offered me UFC, and I got to go to PFL. But I like $1 million, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
a part of the journey. I had no issues. But the PFL, they hit me up like I want to say like 2 weeks after that offer for the UFC. And I was like, yo, that sounds great. Hell yeah, I'll take that. Why not?
Yeah, and you signed with the PFL, part of their Challenger series. And I know you said you think it's like a little downfall from the UFC, but it is one of the biggest promotions in the world, the PFL, and they're slowly
Yeah.
getting better every day. As we know, they're signing talent every day. And how was like the fight experience for you? Because we had someone on, I don't know if you ever heard of him, Joshua Silveira, who's also in the Challenger series, and
Uh
yeah, he said his experience was amazing. His first fight in PFL too. How was your experience fight week for the first time in PFL? How was all that?
my experience for fight week, it just felt like another fight week. I tried my best not to put too much into it. Mentally, like it's just another fight. Like sure I'm fighting in front of like the crowd in the stage that I'm fighting in front of is a lot different, like on a scale, like way more massive than, Titan FC. But it felt good. Energy was good. Everything was perfect. Everything was exactly the way it needed to be, specifically for that fight. In the cage, I didn't really get to see the cage until, of course,
Okay.
the day of the fight. But when I was in there, it felt pretty good. I felt very confident going into that fight, even though like I think my fight was actually like the hardest fight on that card, to be really honest. One of the guys got a short notice fight. Actually, two of the guys got short notice fights. Um, two the first fight, those guys were teammates that fought.
Yep.
They were teammates. The second fight, the guy who got knocked out, he took that fight on 2 days' notice.
Oh wow.
He made weight. He took that fight on 2 days' notice.
Huge.
My opponent was the only opponent that stayed in, and the main event. But the main event, the kid who lost, I beat that kid in Titan.
Yeah.
Like That was my first fight in Titan, and I beat him in the first round. I think way more impressively, in my opinion. But I feel like my fight was the most challenging on that whole card. When it came to like styles, when it came to records, when it came to, you know, where we're both at in our lives currently. Like we had the same exact record.
Yeah.
We both had a loss around the same time in our career, our second fight. And I feel like he wanted it just as much as I wanted it. He was as hungry as I was, and I'm pretty sure he felt the pressure of being on the B side. You know, like because the way they did it was like it was a champion from an organization, Brave, LFA, Titan FC, versus another contender from wherever. You know, so I'm pretty sure he was feeling that a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, man. But now let's get into the fight. So a lot of people tuned in. You go in there, you land a punch on his eye, and it looked like it was messed up really bad. What was your initial reaction to when the eye started looking like how it was?
Well, my initial reaction was after I landed the punch, because I don't know if you saw the fight. I feel like when I went into the fight, I went out there too hard, too fast. Like and I would say personally, I would say that's probably the first time I ever actually experienced an adrenaline dump in a fight. Like I felt like my body was like, yo, what's going on? Like it felt weird. It felt like it was coming down very fast. Like I started too fast, too soon. You know, normally in fights I'll pace myself a little bit better so that way I could avoid that. So it was very interesting to have to experience that for the first time in my career, and to know that I can still come out on top, experiencing that for the first time in my career. You know, having seen his eye in the first round, I was like, I saw the eye, I was like, damn, what the fuck? I was like, all right. First thing I was thinking to myself was, I got him. I'm going to finish this fight. Like, there's no way he's coming back from this. But I definitely 100% respect the fact that he was still game to fight. But I'm pretty sure that was just the adrenaline pumping. You know, like when your eye comes out like that after a cracked orbital, when your eye literally comes out hanging like that.
It was
Clearly, there's only two things you could think: adrenaline. That's one, and the second thing is that, of course, like he couldn't see how damaged his eye was. If that makes sense. Like I don't know if you've ever like broken a bone, but the pain never registers until you see what just happened. And I think when he saw what just happened, it started to register like, yo, I'm severely injured. Like this is an issue. And honestly, kudos to the refs for stopping the fight when they stopped the fight, because at the end of the day, like we're fighting on the PFL Challenger Series. We're not fighting for the $1 million, you know?
yeah.
I can see if we're fighting for $1 million and, you know, the stakes were a little higher, it's a little different. But to fight on the Challenger Series, which is like the Contender Series, for like the amount of money we're getting paid like to do that, it's like risk versus reward. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna fight this fight, but at what cost of losing an eye, you know, and potentially ending my career.
No doubt.
Yeah, so we hear some fighters say that if they see a bad injury like that, then they'll kind of hold back from dominating in the fight. So did you want to hold back at all, or were you just like, this is my opportunity, and you just felt like you had to keep going?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, me personally, like I saw it, I felt bad, but like at the end of the day, like if it's him or me, I'm gonna choose me. You know, like at the end of the day, if I cause the injury, I'm gonna have to finish that fight because there's no way he's making it out of that second round. Okay, you know, like no, I can't. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's still a fight, right? And the objective of the fight is to win. Like it's so. I wouldn't have held back. I wouldn't have stopped anything. Like if we were going to second round, I probably would have still punched that high. If I'm being like seriously, if I'm being very honest, it's like, for instance, if there's a fight and you've severely injured somebody's leg via leg kicks
Yeah.
in the second round, are you gonna stop throwing leg kicks? No, you're not gonna stop throwing leg kicks. You're gonna throw even more leg kicks because that leg is injured. They're hobbling at this point, you know, like you're gonna try to finish that leg and stop the fight via leg kick finish. Same thing with the eye, like, oh man, I cracked this orbital. Am I going to stop punching his eye? No, I'm going to continue to punch his eye. I'm going to continue to punch his face as much as possible, especially since the right hand was landing the most, you know? He was southpaw, I was orthodox. Of course, the right hand's going to land the most. So why would I stop, you know, throwing the bread and butter shot, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. That was just a question we wanted to know because we hear like when fighters are dominating and stuff, or they do injure their opponents. Like I think it was recently when RDA fought Moicano on the two.
Yeah, he started to slow down. He started to break
Yeah,
a little bit.
he
He was
said he
like,
was,
damn,
yeah,
man.
Yep, exactly. He said he said in an interview with Ariel, I think, like, yeah, it did go through my mind that I wanted to stop because it was just so bad. But that's why we wanted to know what you. But obviously for you, it was a big opportunity because the $1 million is on the line. So you wanted that, I'm sure, and that probably was
And
going
with
through.
RDA, I feel like the situation's different because he has over like 40 fights. He's
Yeah.
been in the UFC
Yep.
very long. Like he's not like broke.
Yeah.
He has money. So it's like, and he has like a bunch of losses on his record. He understands what it's like to have to accept the loss, but like at the same time, he also understands like what it's like to be a fighter at the top. Like still like a risk. It's like one of those things where like sometimes like being a fighter, you really show like how truly compassionate you can be as a person, because I feel like fighting humbles you in a way where you become more spiritual. Like even if you weren't a spiritual individual, you become more spiritual in any form in any form of fashion. Like it doesn't matter what you believe. Like you just become more grounded to earth. You just become more understanding and empathetic to people's situations and circumstances, because coming up as a fighter isn't like the easiest thing. Like chasing your dreams isn't the easiest thing to do. Like people will tell you, oh man, you're never gonna make it. This is never gonna happen, or you'll never get to the top. You're gonna stop when you get there. And then once you start breaking barriers, they're like, oh wow, I can't believe you did it. Congratulations. And then you start doing more and they're like, oh my God, like you're so good. And then you start breaking more and they're like, hey man, can you show me this? Can you show me that? Hey, is there any way I can, do a couple sessions with you to learn something? And these were the same guys that were telling you never make it. So as a fighter, you just start to really understand and grasp that at the end of the day, what people say is what people say. It's just you versus whoever's in that cage. And honestly, respect out to Mark Martin, for taking that fight. I appreciate him for taking that fight, and of course giving me a tough fight, um, everything about it. Like I appreciate the whole thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you just said. It honestly is so true. And the round ends, the doctor looks at his eye. Now, when you're seeing them look at his eye and everything, did you feel they were going to call a doctor stoppage? Because like we said, that eye was really bad. It was coming out. Did you feel that was the end once that round one ended?
Yeah, yeah. When I saw his eye and I saw it was hanging the way it was hanging, I was like, they're gonna probably stop that fight. There's no way they're gonna make this fight keep going.
Yeah.
I literally turned to my corner and my corner was like, yo, they're gonna stop the fight. They're about to stop the fight because his eye is not doing what the eye should be doing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's going like through your head when this is all happened? The ref waves it off. Were you satisfied with the win? Because we hear sometimes fighters say, "I wanted to go out and finish him. I wanted to prove my point more." But you
See,
landed that good punch though to make that
yeah,
guy look like that. So
yeah, yeah. So like, it's not the type of win that I wanted. To put a stamp on it, like I mean, sure, like his eye was damaged and I did that work. I did the work. I did all of that, But at the end of the day, like it's not as emphatic as I wanted to. It's like, for instance, like I feel like it's not really close, but like when Anderson Silva broke his leg, like can you
yeah,
really celebrate that win? Like
that
you
was
did it because you checked the kick, but like can you really, is that really a fight that worth celebrating? And like it comes to a point where it's like at the end of the day, like it's still a man's eye, like he's fighting probably for the same reasons that I'm fighting. We're both out here trying to make it to the top, to be the top, to be the best. So you feel a specific way, and I feel like it would have been more. I feel like it would have been better for me had I finished it and felt bad afterwards than to have to go into the second round looking at his eye, thinking, "Damn, I'm really gonna have to go out here and really fuck his eye up even more." Like I don't know. I just felt like had it at least the fight been finished, it would have been a little different.
no doubt.
Yeah, so it was still a great win, but I want to know, so what's next for you? Is there going to be another PFL Challenger series, or is something else in the works?
Yeah. So what PFL was saying is they're basically they gave out like a couple developmental contracts. That's it, if that, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So definitely should be like another fight in the works, but it's a pretty decent contract. So if I get like maybe a better offer somewhere else, I could definitely go somewhere else and fight. But for right now, I'm definitely PFL.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so are you trying to stay active like you were the past year? Like you had three fights, 3 wins. Are you trying to be more active? You trying to like maybe take a little break?
Hell yeah. Trying to take 5 fights this year.
I love it. I love
Love
that.
to hear that.
As many fights as possible.
I love
I don't
that.
have time to waste.
No doubt. Yeah. And no doubt. And you said maybe if another opportunity comes, you may take it. I mean, you said before UFC was one you were looking at. If they called and they offered you like a fight where you can get a full camp, is that something you're interested in?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Hell
yeah.
yeah. The freak? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for it, man. I can't wait to see what's next for you. And last thing here, whenever we have fighters on, we always ask for a prediction on upcoming fight. Less than a month now. Khamzat Chimaev, Gilbert Burns. Mixed feelings on it. People think Khamzat's going to run through him. How do you see this fight playing out? Who you got?
Well, Gilbert's my teammate, so I got Gil all day. I got Gil all day. He got all my energy. Gil.
How
Yeah.
it-
You believe in the height of Chimaev?
See, the thing with Chimaev is, and I'm not gonna take away from his talent, his skill. Like he's definitely a specimen. He's definitely very, very talented, very, very raw. One thing I will say with him though is, if you really look at his record and you look at the guys he's fought, they're not like the top caliber of guys he's fought. You know what I'm saying? Like they always say, you're not great until you fight great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's what makes you great. Like taking those risks and fighting great people. Gilbert is a great opponent. Gilbert is like a guy who's actually fought rounds of fight. Khamzat has never made it outside of the first round.
That's true. That is true.
Like if you look at his record, I'm telling you, if you look at his record, no fight that he's had in his 10 fights has made it outside of the first round. That's one. Two, there's no way he's gonna not take Gilbert into the 5 rounds that they would have to fight, or the 3 rounds that they would have to fight, you know? There's no way. So, and there's no way Gilbert would allow him to finish him in the first round. Like, no. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, realistically speaking, what's really the game plan for Khamzat? Like, I get like he understands striking, he can strike, but we really haven't seen like crazy amounts of striking from him versus, I mean, like crazy amounts of striking from really. I think his best fight in the UFC so far, striking wise, was against Gerald Meerschaert.
Yeah, that was. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, and he took that fight on like a week notice, or something like that, or 2 weeks notice, right?
I think so.
And it looked like Gerald in that fight was very afraid to fight him to begin with, like to start. Like he was like, "Oh shit!" Like I'm not trying to. Like you just see like demeanor, composure. You can watch a person's face and be like, "Yeah, that guy was scared. Like he did not want to fight him to begin with." But he also didn't want to seem like a bitch for the UFC because they just offered him another opponent, a newcomer to the UFC who's who could be iffy, but like he literally just looked sus. Not to mention, and then in his most recent fight, who's the guy he fought? The guy from China, right?
Yeah, it was like Ling. I forgot. I don't know how to say his last name. Leech. They call him the Leech.
Yeah.
And everything. Yeah.
The Leech, yeah.
Yeah.
And he fought Sapolsky Maniba. He knocked him out, right? Sapolsky Maniba was a tough dude to finish.
Yeah.
He knocked him out. Khamzat went out there, and what was the first thing he did?
Take him down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when he was put to a test where a guy had a full camp and was willing to strike, what did he do? Fuck that. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna wrestle.
Yeah, and that's why I think this is so interesting because Khamzat may try to take Gilbert down, but Gilbert's ground game's insane, man.
Hard dude to hold down. Like if you're actually trying to hold him down, it's pretty hard to hold him down. And not to mention, black belt jits, solid jits. I've rolled with Gilbert. Gilbert's not to be trifled with on the ground. Like he will finish you.
Yeah, you see, you're saying the same. You're also teammates then with Ian Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said the same thing when we spoke to him. He was saying Gilbert looks good. It's gonna be an interesting fight. I can't wait.
It's gonna be a very interesting fight. Yeah, very.
Can't wait for that one. Tune in for that. Tune in. I can't wait for your next fight too. Let us know if anything happens with you, Challenger Series, whatever. Thank you for coming on again. It was really great speaking with you. If you want to thank any sponsors, shout out any social media, the floor is yours.
Gotcha. Appreciate you. Any sponsors right now? Versa Climber, Step One official underwear. They're legit. You guys should check them out. I like Step One. Who else? It's not Women's Association. They're holding it down.
Man.
And Sanford MMA, of course.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, man. It was really great speaking with you. And yeah, we'll catch up soon. Thanks again.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you. All right.
All right, have a good one.
Peace.